Just had another video took down on YouTube. The big tech giants censoring. You know, when you think of the amount of stuff that's on YouTube, and when you put something up about COVID-19 or vaccines or anything like that, it gets took down. I just seen this news article today saying they're going to try and make it a law. If anybody talks about vaccines on social media, want to make it a law to stop people calling vaccines, calling them out for what they really are. I mean, they're already doing it in Australia and New Zealand, and they've got police going around the doors. You've seen a couple of videos I put up, knocking on the door because they're posting stuff on Facebook about the big C word. How the government's being tyrants. Just testing this, well, it's not necessarily a microphone where it is, but it's all amplifies, it's like a voice recorder thing. Still haven't worn a face mask in the shop. But anyway, I haven't actually been approached. Well, I was once, but I wasn't actually told to leave the shop or anything. She just mentioned about the police have been in the shop about face masks and that. But they don't work at all, face masks. There's not one shred of evidence anywhere. There's been no tests made on various materials. There's that many things people are putting on their faces. There's nothing to say anywhere that anything's been tested for viruses. They might work with a bit of bacteria, but they don't work with viruses. States on the box. States on the box. So, if that's the case, why are they making you wear them? Think to yourself, don't just wear them. Don't conform to it. Why? Why conform to it? Because when you're conforming to it, you're bringing in, you're ushering in tyranny, basically. That's what you're doing. It's not going to end at masks. It's going to just keep continuing. Before long, they'll be knocking on your door with a needle, and they'll be demanding to be in to vaccinate all your children and yourself. Are you just going to allow that? Do you know what I mean? I heard some idiot the other day on about we want to make everybody immune to COVID-19. Think about that in another way. How long has the common cold been around? It's been around a lot longer than us. Have we ever been immune to that? Have they ever made us immune to the common cold? Certainly not. So if they cannot make you immune to it, I mean, it changes all the time, as you know. How are they going to make us immune to COVID-19? What they've got planned is continuous vaccines. Not one vaccine, but continuous vaccines. They'll make them mandatory as well. It won't be like the flu. Whereas now it's your option to get a vaccine. But they want to make it mandatory. They want to make you get the vaccine every fucking year. Sorry about the swearing. Just been watching a lot of stuff about the march in London yesterday, and also Berlin as well. Quite a few people turned up. As the media puts it, conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theorists, that's how they headline it. Anything that goes against what they're pitching, they're a conspiracy theorist. Anything, and they're trying to silence everybody for saying it. What sort of world will we have when the only thing you hear is what they preach out, and you haven't got a voice? You haven't got a voice, because that's where it's at. That's where it's going. That's where it's going. But you've got people that are just letting it happen. Letting it happen. I'm actually getting some interference. Don't know where it's coming from. Might be off the phone, like. But regarding masks, I know for a fact they don't work, and I've seen enough evidence to say they don't. But they not only not work, they're actually detrimental to your health. I've seen pictures of people with rashes all over their faces because of the bacteria collecting on your face. That's another thing with face masks, right? If they were so concerned about your health, right, which you claim to be, why don't they mention about changing the masks daily, or washing your masks? Don't wear the masks for too long. It's not even mentioned, is it? They don't talk about bacteria building up on the mask, getting into your lungs, causing viral infections and stuff like that. They don't talk about it. If it was going to be, if they were so concerned about your health, they'd be doing all these safety factors, instead of just clagging masks on old people and saying you must wear them. Because they can actually, like I say, lower your immune system as well by taking in your CO2, as well as reducing your oxygen. And then you've got the bacterial build-up factor. It's all not good for your health. You're meant to breathe in open air. You weren't meant to be behind a mask. You've just got to ask yourself that question. Think, well, if they're not good for me health, and they don't work, why is the government making me wear it? Just ask yourself that question. It's not rocket science. It's called thinking for yourself. It's common sense. Common sense. There's a big reason behind it. There's a big push. It's just instill fear in people. When you see people with masks on, it instills in your subconscious mind to say, there's something not right here. There's a disease, and we must live in fear. It's also to stop people communicating for people as well, because when you put that mask on, it's a psychological thing. It like shields you from people. It like takes away your facial expression. It takes away your will to be around people. It does a lot of things that you probably don't even understand. And the worst thing of all, I think, out of all of it, is making children wear them. I do believe that is going to be the scourge of the century, because that'll do more damage psychologically over a period of time. Because I don't think this mask thing is a couple of weeks here, a couple of weeks there. I think it's permanent. I really do. And the people that are conforming to it, I do believe they're bringing it in. They're actually helping to bring it in. Try to switch the video off there. Look like a tit carrying this fluffy thing around, talking to myself. Yeah. Yeah, where was I at? Yeah, because if you conform to things so easily like that, you're making yourself a slave, basically. You're making yourself a slave, because masks have been around a lot of years, probably centuries, but they were used for slaves in the past. It takes away people's voice, it takes away opinions, it takes away the human soul in a way. The mask, the muzzle. Now if you go in a supermarket, I've noticed it myself, you feel like a total leper. When you walk around that supermarket, people are looking at you like you're a germ, because you don't have a mask on you. All of a sudden, once it reached that date, that deadline date, when was it, the 24th of June or whatever it was, I can't remember, July. Once we reached that date, where the government says masks become mandatory in supermarkets, all of a sudden that date, you had to have them, and from that date on, you become the biggest germ in the world if you didn't have a mask. But these people that are conforming, they're actually people that just sit and watch the television all day. They haven't got the common sense or the will to actually look at anything else. And these are the sort of people that watch the London March, the Freedom March. These are the sort of people that actually criticise that march and call that march and call them conspiracy theorists, as the newspapers are putting it, because they haven't actually getting up and looked into it and thought, is there anything behind this? That march, the papers are portraying that march was about saying COVID-19 was a scam. Well, they're not saying it doesn't exist. They're saying it's a scam because of all the draconian measures placed by the government for something that should never ever happen. It should have been just classed as a normal flu, a normal cold virus, killing off the elderly like it always has done. Instead, they locked down all the healthy people, most with no symptoms, lock them down for months, take away all the rights, all the enjoyment. I mean, I've lost my job leading up to the COVID-19 scam, and I've also never been able to get back into work. In fact, I'm at the point now where I don't want to go back to work because I don't want to be sitting in a factory with a mask on all day. I was looking for just a part-time job, but even the part-time jobs, they're all made to wear a mask. I won't do it. I would sooner actually have absolutely no money at all. I mean, I've got debts I can't pay. I can't pay them. I've just had to put them on hold. I'll go to court. I'll do anything. If I get fined in the supermarket for not having the mask, I'll go to court and I'll not pay the fine. I'll not pay the fine after the court either. They can just, the money, in my case, I say the government is responsible for me not being able to get back into work. That's the way I look at it. And because of that, I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit if I get a job. I'll actually live in the woods, or I have to. In many ways, that sounds more appealing to me because I don't live in a house. I live in my van. I've lived in my van for a couple of years now. I don't need all the home luxuries. This is what most people have. I done away with that years ago. Even when I had a house, I never spent any time in it. I was always out somewhere in the countryside or the moors or the hills or somewhere. Just couldn't wait to get out. I used it for a shower and that was it. So as far as luxuries, it don't matter to me. I mean, what I want to do, I would love to start a community up, because I think it'll come to this. It'll come to this in the end, where we're all these freedom fighters will end up having to leave the homes. That's if they don't get bulldozed by COVID-19, which I seen a news article once, that your actual property can get COVID-19. And Boris Johnson will come in to pull it down. And I think there'll be I don't think you'll be able to live. A normal life without the vaccine. I don't think you can, and that's the way it's heading. They're going to make it so your life is practically impossible to live. And the only way to live is for communities to get together and be totally off the grid, and live a bit like the way I see it. The way I would love to live is, can you remember that film called Witness? Witness with Harrison Ford and what do you call her? Top Gun. McGillis. Kelly McGillis. That film, and when you think of that film, I mean, it's a great film, and you see them barn raising and all that. They're raising their own barns and they're raising them for other people in the community. Everybody in the community's got like their own tasks to do, whether it's milking a cow or whatever. But they've got no stress. They don't need money. They can self-support their own lives, and that's how I would like to live, away from technology. I mean, I'll smash this phone up tomorrow because they're desperately trying to force updates on you, trying to get that COVID app in. I haven't got it in at the moment. I managed to get it out, but I'm constantly getting. I can't get rid of the update reminders, wanting us to update it, so they can put it back in again through the back door without your knowledge. You won't get a morning saying, "Oh, we're going to install this on your phone." They'll just do it without your knowledge. That's the sort of people there are, and what world we're living in. Spying on you without your knowledge. You've done it for years. A little thing with mobile phones, right? Can you remember going back a few years? The mobile phones were obviously less technical as what they are now. But mobile phones, you could always take the back off and pull the battery out, couldn't you? You can't do it anymore now. They've made it so every phone that's made now, you can't replace the battery. There's a reason behind that, do you think? I gave it a thought the other day, and I thought how many things, home appliances is in your house, and like your television where you switch off, you put it on standby, a little light comes on and you think it's off. It's still getting power. Part of that circuit board is still powered up. Your telephone, even going back years and years before the new colour display telephones come out, and that telephone lines always have a voltage going through them. I think it's about 18 volts. Or was it 25 volts? I'm not sure exactly what it is. I know that in the UK they do. I've had that voltage going down for a lot of years. I think it mainly was for the bell and all that, because the old phones never needed to be plugged in. They actually worked. You didn't have to plug them into a power source. You just plugged the phone into the line and it was powered up. Because the voltage just goes down the line, see? It's just in the house. Anyway, what was it? Where was it at? Phones. Yeah, this voltage, what's been going down the phone line for probably as long as I know. I remember this years ago because I was mucking around with the line and I got a little tingle, a little shock. It's not enough to like hurt you, but it's enough. I think it's, I don't know if it's DC voltage or AC, I can't remember because I tested it on the meter. Might have been about 25 volts, which is about the voltage you would get before you would feel it. Anything less than that, you can't really feel it. When it gets to about 20-25 volts, you can feel a little tingle. And that powers the phone up. Phone that didn't need to be plugged into the electricity socket. And even though it's on the hook, the phone, you think is it still picking up calls? I mean that hook, does it actually disconnect it doesn't disconnect the microphone inside the phone. All it does is it just like disengages the line in a sense. That's all that hook's doing, like freeing up the line. It's not actually disconnecting any microphone in the handset. So that microphone is basically powered up all the time, even with your phone down. So, you know, you think there's a lot more going on than what you think. And like you say, with these mobiles, what I'm saying about the mobile and the battery thing is the older phones, you could power the phone down, take the battery out, and there was no power in the phone. Unless it had a little tiny backup battery, what we didn't know about, but I doubt it did. So you knew when you took that battery out, the phone was dead, basically. Now you power your phone down, it powers the operating system down. But what else is running? There's still power in the circuit board, up until it'll go through a voltage regulator and probably power some of the board up to maybe a GPS module or something like that. Powered up all the time. What we don't know about. I mean, they say if you turn your location off, you can't find you, but that's a load of shit. I reckon even with the phone turned off, there's part of that circuit board powered up. You can't remove the battery anymore, so basically you can't do anything about it. They take that choice away from you, see? They take the choice away from you. It's like everything in the world now. They're taking away our choices, our freedoms. I'm recording this now and I might look back in a couple of years, if the video is still there, that is, because I think it'll be deleted probably next week. I'll look back in a couple of years and think, God, that was the precipice. That was the turning point where our freedoms were just totally being eroded everywhere. That was the point where the human race had to turn, had to make a stand. We had to make a stand at that point, and if we didn't, we'll basically dissolve. We'll dissolve as people. And I do believe we're at that point now. If we don't make a stand now, like, it gives me some hope when I look at their marches in London and especially Berlin. That gives you hope, because even though the police were trying to like break it up and that, I watched a video last night where the actual police took off their helmets and just stood there, and actually I think even they understand. But you've got to think these people that are enforcing this, like the police, right? They they're enforcing this for their children, their children's future. When, if you're a policeman in uniform or you're an NHS worker who would lie into the public, is it worth it? Is that what you want to do? Because if I was in a job where I was made to cover things up and lie, I wouldn't want the job. Basically, I wouldn't want to be responsible for bringing in this tyranny and this freedom to detrimental our freedom sort of new world what we're going into. I just wouldn't want to be responsible for that. I would just leave the job. Even if I was a doctor and I had to support my family, I mean, I would have a good pension if I was a doctor. Is it worth it? I mean, I do think there's more doctors coming out, but a lot of them are threatened with a job, and the family's threatened and stuff like that. I do believe that. I've seen evidence of doctors coming forward. So there needs to be a lot more. There needs to be a lot more.